My name is Dominic Makwa from the Department of Performing Arts and Film, Makerere University. The topic of my presentation is Musicians as Community Archives, historicizing Bududa landslide disasters since mid-1960s. Since 1st March 2010, when a landslide hit Bududa district, to mention the name Bududa in Uganda is like evoking the term landslide, which is the movement of rocks, earth, or debris down a slope, destroying not only property, but also causing death and displacement of people. Heightened occurrence of landslides in Bududa has forced those in authority to come up with multiple mitigation measures, especially in terms of evacuating and resettling survivors to safer places, as well as providing them with food, water, and medical care. Despite the above efforts, little success has been registered. Now, the question that comes to the fore can be, is it because there is inadequate or almost no historical information to inform interventions? My research answers the above question. I demonstrate how musicians have participated in archiving information about landslides in Bududa district since mid-1960s and how this material can be used by stakeholders to inform mitigation measures. As the NEMA report of 2010 has pointed out, although Bududa has experienced landslides since early 1900s, mid-1960s was a period this place began registering frequent landslides, and this is attributed to high population densities that began to be registered in Bududa. My theorization of musicians as archives is informed by the idea that an archive should not only be looked at as a place of keeping records, but any means through which communities can collect, preserve, showcase, and transmit information. As Muller 2002 and Sanga 2014 have shown, items like songs and pieces of sculpture have acted as archives where certain communities have safeguarded important information for retrieval and use in future. As my study demonstrates, by drawing on landslides as material for composing songs, musicians collect important material about this disaster. They keep such information in their minds and later transmit it during beer parties, political rallies, and other contexts. Because archives are repositories of cherished information, looking at musicians as archives provides significant historical information that can be used by different authorities to inform mitigation measures during the present, as well as prepare for any future eventualities. In executing this study, I have interacted with 8 individual musicians. I have established that musicians have documented the period landslides happened, the places and the people who were affected, intervention from various stakeholders, and what can be done to make these efforts better. One of these musicians is Wobutambu Obunahu, whose 2 songs include Ingurure ya Nangumba, the landslide of Nangumba. This song documents a landslide that happened in 1970, killing over 60 people who had gathered in the home of Wanu Nangumba in Ushi sub-county. These people were performing imbal circumcision rituals. Obutambi also narrates the circumstances leading to the occurrence of Ingurure ye Nametsi, the Nametsi landslide of 2010, mentioning the people who died and the property that was destroyed, and what can be done to curb this disaster. Namwali Mzungu is another musician who sings about landslides in Bududa. His famous song is Ingurure ya Remaliswa liye Vamasata. The landslide has cut the land of the Vamasata. Like Wobutambi, Namwali uses his song to narrate the nature of destruction caused by the 1988 landslide in Vunanzushi village, Masata parish in the sub-county of Burucheke. The last musician I would like to talk about is Peter Ruholo, whose song Ingurure Yachendamu Musamvu, the landslide of 1997, documents the 1997 landslide that hit Bukovelo village, Buali parish in Buvita sub-county. In the song, Ruholo narrates how this landslide happened, the places that were affected, and Silira plus his wife as the main victims of this disaster. Now, what is common with these musicians is the structure of their songs. Introducing the songs with warnings to people to be aware of landslides, mentioning the landslide in question, and the nature of destruction it has caused, imploring those in authority to come to their rescue, calling upon community members to embrace government programs on resettlement, before making a recapitulation on why community members should know that landslides are a big challenge to their area. Now, before I conclude my presentation, I just want to reiterate why stakeholders need to make use of such archives. In other words, why should government agencies as well as NGOs draw on musicians as sources of historical information which can help in informing their mitigation measures? Engaging with musicians gives those in authority information on the magnitude of a particular landslide, especially in terms of those who died and the items destroyed. In most cases, rescue workers have failed to account for the dead. However, being members of the same community, musicians are always equipped with information that can be helpful in such accountabilities. Besides, accessing such archives enhances an understanding of the perspectives of local communities on the question of resettlement. The burning issue in Uganda has always been that people of Bududa do not want to be resettled elsewhere. However, as early as 1970, one can hear voices supporting this drive, as Wobutambi's song Ingurure ya Nangumba, the landslide of Nangumba, can demonstrate. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me. May God bless you so much. Thank you.